Today I would like to try something different. I try not to read from my notes, so please be patient with me. Today I would like to share my travel experiences about my trip to Vietnam in February. I'm very grateful for the precious opportunity to have been able to do a full retreat prior to my trip, which I find very helpful to help me mentally prepare for it. Since I was doing only the first half of the 3-month retreat, I decided to mainly focus on the mindfulness of the body. It is because I want to know my body better, how it functions, and to become familiar with my mortality. So especially the impermanent nature of the body. So before I talk about my travel experiences, I would like to share briefly how the 6 aspects of mindfulness of the body support, complement, and nourish each other, which I find very helpful and beneficial during my retreat and during my trip to Vietnam. As you know, even there are 6 aspects of the mindfulness of the body, but actually I learned from Bhikkhu Anelio that there are 3 contemplation of the body: the parts, the elements, and the decay of the corpse. So from the Bhikkhu Anelio medical practice guide, I learned that mindfulness is a mental quality that we need to bring it into being. So my practice is to cultivate moment by moment awareness, especially the present awareness, the present moment awareness and silent awareness of the present moment. So how do I go about cultivating moment by moment awareness, especially present moment awareness? I learned that from Bhikkhu Anelio that I need to cultivate that awareness grounded in my body through the 4 bodily postures and the bodily activities with clear knowing. For example, in the Satipatthana Sutra, it said, in wearing your robes or carrying the ombo, one act with a clear knowing. In walking, in standing up, in sitting, in lying down, one act with clear knowing. In drinking, eating, chewing, or tasting, one act with clear knowing. In falling asleep or waking up, one act with clear knowing. So we have to cultivate that mindfulness or awareness from the moment we wake up until the moment we go to bed, and it's a continuous practice. So I realized that the more my awareness with clear knowing is grounded in my body, the less I get pulled in by the 6th sense. Because earlier I thought I had to guard my 6th sense with mindfulness, but it didn't work that way. And especially in the Satipatthana Sutra, the Buddha advises to investigate the nature of our body, feeling, mind, and phenomena in the light of 3 characteristics: impermanent, suffering, and not self. So when I realized that, the deeper my awareness in the body get rooted in my body, the easier or quicker I can see clearly the passing and the arising and passing nature of the body, feeling, mind, and phenomena or changes as direct experience. And I think it's very interesting. For example, before I just breathe, I never noticed the in and out of the air, or in and out of the nostril. I never noticed the rise and fall of the abdomen. I never noticed my cough, sneeze, or running nose in the morning come and go. I never noticed that. Or I never noticed that when I feel chill in the chapel, if I put on a blanket, then I feel warmer. So there's a constant changes, but I never noticed that. Or when I drink, I say, if I'm thirsty and I drink, I never notice that, now I'm not thirsty. So when I drinking water, I notice that, I made a conscious effort to notice in my mind that I'm borrowing water from the earth, from nature. And when I pee, then I say, now whatever I drink, it become urine. And whatever I borrow for the water element from nature, now it returns to nature. And it's very fascinating. Or when I feel itch or maybe numbness, when I do sitting meditation, I can see that the itch, or if I don't react with aversion, but just be patient and watch the itch or maybe cramp or numbness disappear or cease. And in addition to the unpleasant or discomfort of my body, then it's a direct experience. And that make me feel very confident that if I can see the passing or arising and passing or the changes happen in my body, feeling, mind, and phenomena, then the chance that I can gain a direct experience when dealing with seeing the dukkha and the not self of that four foundation is very, very helpful. So next, I want to share some of the challenges that I experienced the first 2 weeks of my retreat. I think is one of the challenges that I'm facing and have to deal with is anxiety before my trip. Even though I have a very clear purpose, I know I'm very clear of the purpose of my trip. I'm very anxious, and which make my mind very active and restless. So I have to use my out breath and investigate why I'm anxious. As you know, if we don't know how to direct our attention to our breath, our attention slides by, and as a result, we end up absorbing in ruminating, anxiety, irritation, anger, or whatever. But if I remember to consciously bring attention to my breath and know how to use it, I can deal with anxiety much better. I learned that the breathing in has different effect on the body and mind than breathing out. When we breathing in, there's an expansion of the body. We actually bring in the life force, expanding and energizing our body and mind, which is very different from breathing out. It's a release, a settling, a stop. So when we see the distinct quality of that, of the effect of the breathing in and out on our body and mind, by knowing that and by really paying close attention to what's going on, what's happening, then we can use the different effect of our in-breath and out-breath to work with our mind to balance it. So when I feel anxious, when I notice that anxiety arises in my mind, I pay more attention to the out-breath and allowing my mind to settle down, and that is very helpful. When I feel more calm, then I begin to investigate why I'm anxious. I think part of the reason is the process of taking care of my deceased sister grave and bringing her ashes back to the U.S. is new to me. I never done that before. Part of that is I exaggerate the the scale of the project. I had a great laugh at myself. Why? It's not like a Buddha building a Buddha hall. It's not like a $7 million. It's only a few $100. Why I'm anxious and worried? So it helped me relax and calm down and let go of my anxiety. And then I also think make a conscious effort to bring to my during many sessions during the retreat to remind me that the more I perceive every moment as uncertainty, the more clearly I can see I don't know what will happen. I don't know what the outcome will be, or I don't know whether it will happen the way I expect or I plan. So how about playing it by ear and hope for the best? And it turned out like the process of taking care of my sister's graves and ashes went very smoothly and very easily. And I also use the mental quality. Remember, try to cultivate the mental quality of water, like Bhikkhu Ananio suggests, similar like water. It will the water, which is like the water will adapt its form wherever it flows. So it helped me to train myself to be more flexible and adaptive to outer circumstances. And as I mentioned before, I know that during this trip to Vietnam, I have to deal with a lot of uncertainty and unpredictability, especially changes during my trip. So I focus a lot on impermanence. So, for example, when the moment I left Newport and I arrived in Spokane, I noticed that's a change. And then a few hours later, I flew to Seattle. Oh, that's a change. From Seattle, past midnight, I got on the airplane to Taiwan. And 13 hours later, I'm in Taipei. 4 hours later, I'm in Vietnam, so I can notice the gross impermanence, constant changes, and it's very helpful. And of course, when I went back, when I was in Vietnam, I could see, wow, I was even impermanent and changes in my mind. I was still a little bit shocked and surprised to see the changes in everywhere I went. Especially my hometown, I hardly recognize them because there are a lot of high-rise hotel, resort. Everywhere I saw restaurant, coffee shop, and own the store, and that's amazing. And I could not recognize my neighborhood because it used to be a residential area. Now it's a mix of residential area and commercial and business. There are a lot of high-rise building and a lot of coffee shop and all the store and a lot of things. And my family home, it was no longer my family home. It was a massage studio and all the top floor, they rented out. So I say, wow, somehow in the back of my mind, I still want to hold on to my past memory of my neighborhood, which is very quiet, peaceful, and safe, but now it's very different. And I would like to mention a little bit about my calmness with chaos traffic. I guess if I'm not familiar with the mindfulness of breathing and pauses with full and deep breath, I might have heart attack or scream. So I learned some technique that I better look to the side rather than look straight or look ahead, because it was very, very scary. So most of the time I kept quiet. A few times I talked to the driver, but I said I rather look to the side too, just to see the changes. And I didn't attempt to correct or to remind the driver to drive carefully. And I got a lot of pleasant experiences. And now I'm glad that I can see that life and death is. Oh, my life was very fragile because it was scary. And unlike all the previous trip, my main purpose of for my vacation was to indulge in sensual desire. Like I want to stay in a nice hotel, to eat delicious food, and to see as much as like all the beautiful tourist attraction as I could. But this trip is very different. Of course, contemplating the four elements helped me generate a deep sense of gratitude to nature, and that helped me to be more content for my daily existence, which make me more content with the food that my relatives are very kind to cook, like two or three dishes a day for me. I'm content with the homestay hotel, which is just clean and in a safe neighborhood. I have no problem. I also try to take the train, to take the bus with my cousin. He recommends that it's cheap, only 25 cents a ride, and it's air conditioned, so I have no complaint about that. I found out that following sensual desire never satisfy, never bring me happiness, but it made me very selfish, because all I want is, I always think about myself. How can I staying in this nice hotel or something, and how can I have money? I can say I will spend a lot of money for nice hotel or delicious food. Instead, if I stay in a very decent hotel, I save a lot of money to help, to give out, to share with people who need. So it's a wonderful experience. And when I arrived in Vietnam, I called my friend, who is also my relative and my school from middle and high school. She said, "Oh, I just booked a resort for 2 days. I want you to try." And I said, "Oh, thank you very much. I'm a nun now. I'm a monastic. I don't need to relax and stay in a luxurious, so please cancel the reservation." I think she might get disappointed. But if before I ordained, I would say, "Wow, you know me very well." That's a great treatment. Now I say, "Oh, I don't need that." So it's wonderful. And I think, of course, dealing with my anxiety is helped me to make a conscious effort to develop open-mindedness and receptivity to accept differences and variety. So I learned that death and dying have remained a taboo topic to discuss. And it helped me to respect people's belief that it's it's a bad luck, very bad luck to bring the ashes to their home, and maybe in the car or something. So we need to, my sister and I have to talk to the driver and to ask him whether he's willing to stop to the temple where the urn of my deceased sister ashes, whether he's willing to pick it up and bring it to the drivers to a new next city, an Asian port city, so we don't stop at at anybody's house, and then we don't bring it in because we don't want people to blame us for any bad luck that we bring because of the ashes. And last but not least, I think during this retreat, I spent a lot of time contemplating on death. And because it seemed like at the beginning, I got a very strong resistance to death, especially the decay of the corpse, because I don't think thinking about I will become a skeleton. I think it's impossible, and I got a strong resistance. But during the many aspects of my practice, reminding me that this present breath might be my last one. Is very powerful to remind me of death, and remembering the organ. I think the part and the organ and the element is very helpful, because even if my organs function well, but I don't have all the external element like the air, the oxygen, the food, or water, or the heat, I will die. Or even if I have the external element, but my organs don't function, I still die. And also bring in the three remembrance that I am of the nature to age. I haven't gone beyond aging. I am of the nature to sicken. I haven't gone beyond sickness. I am of the nature to die. I haven't gone beyond death. Is extremely powerful and helpful. And in addition, I only think, I never thought about that. Our body shed 30,000 to 40,000 dead skin cells a day. I would say, wow, even death already exists when I'm still alive. It's not like I have to wait until I die. And another thing is, another helpful is my body is the food source of mosquito, ticks, bed bugs, or fleas. So I don't need to wait until my body become a corpse for maybe a vulture or worms to eat. So it's very, very helpful, and that's why my contemplation on that is much more helpful in my practice. So today, I think this is the first time I try not to read from my note, but to share what I experienced. So I'm very, very grateful for all the support of the community and my relatives, my friends, my families, and all the strangers to make my trip very, very meaningful and fruitful. And it's a wonderful, wonderful experience. And thank you very much.